Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As promised, the video outside, this time in Szczecin. Let me show you where I am. Right at the front of a castle, Pomeranian castle, that has been just recently renovated, which is pretty nice. So, this video, as you can probably see in the title of this video, I Don't Care Anymore, is about reactions and opinions of many of people, the comments that were trying to be posted because they won't be posted. Very offensive comments, a lot of them, under my last video in which I was addressing Putin and his connections with a certain bloodline, or maybe his bloodline. It's very interesting, guys, and I want to talk about it today. Very free-flowing video today. However, I have some short notes for you that I want to read it, plus one very, very interesting comment from my latest video. And why I decided to talk about this, because, I reached this point that I really don't care anymore about about putting my energy and presenting the research or information that I am coming across. I see that my supporters on Patreon and locals, they are, they are not as judgmental and they don't have the cognitive dissonance as much. But on YouTube, a lot of you still are appreciative of what I am doing, but there is also a number, very big number, under my last video that was incredibly critical of me even questioning Putin. And this shows me, sorry for the noise, the kids are passing by, but this shows me the level of how deeply people have been conditioned to believe certain things. And I've been there too. But I think if I would be as stuck as many of those people, and this doesn't matter what kind of person, Trump, Putin, whatever, institutions or belief systems or religions. By the way, side note, I have to say it because I will forget. I came across a video from, I think it was from Vatican, in which one of the, I believe, bishops, I think it was from Vatican, there was a holiday, or maybe today is a holiday of Saint Agatha, the name of the lady, and he was literally holding her skull and putting inside the statue that represented her. That was a ceremony. I put it in the stories in my Instagram, but then I removed it because some people didn't understand. You couldn't really look into more satanic representation of what are they doing, putting the skull of allegedly real Agatha inside a statue that represents her, and that was kind of like ceremony or celebration of her as a saint. Sick, absolutely sick. Have you ever seen anything like this, like taking the skull of a person and putting it, like presenting to the world and putting it inside of the statue? Actually, it was the first time I've seen such a thing. So anyway, going back to being brainwashed, well, skull and brain, right, kind of, we stay on the subject. I have to say that I've been there too, but for some reason, something has like opened up, loosened up in me, and I started to question. And I'm grateful that I did, because now, again, I repeat, I came to this point when I know that I don't trust anyone as far as the politics goes, and I think they have been created and used for the purpose, let me actually walk, maybe there's less people there, for the purpose to divide the masses and then to be used against us. Even those statues, guys, let me show you this here. This is really like, what the heck? Kind of like ball, right? Let me show you. I'm actually coming closer. What does it say? Oh, great Minotaur. Here we go. something like this. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. But here is a place, they had some meetings I think here. Usually it's like all over the place, those sits when it's hot and sunny. A lot of people come here to take a sun bath. But maybe I go here, it's a little bit more quiet, and I'm gonna read you the notes that I have prepared for you. Meanwhile, let me show you the view. Right here, that's the Pomeranian Castle. There were several videos I have showed you the square that is right there, that is being renovated as we speak right now. So let's dive into this topic about Putin again, because just briefly, I want to say I am very, very at this point like whatever. I don't care anymore trying to prove people, trying to prove that there is a point in my presentations, because a lot of people don't want to question it. They just want to believe that he is going to save the world. Again, I was there too, quoting Edgar Casey. By the way, I question Edgar Casey now too, because there are certain things that, let's just leave it there. I question him as well. You know, when you are channeling or receiving certain informations, as they say, you can receive from like different energies, let's put this way. So all this kind of like channeling messages, I'm not sure about anymore. But on that note, don't you think one of the main questions you should ask herself or himself, sorry I'm walking, I'm trying to find like a good light, but the sky is currently, that's the condition, the question is, first is like, does that country, whatever country we're talking about, has Chabad, Lubavitch locations? Or maybe not even the first. Maybe the first question is, have you been to the wall? You know what wall I am referring to, right? So let me just read you this, guys. I actually written this down like I used to. Those are facts. F-A-C-T-S. Sometimes people hear it differently. Anyway, you can just literally like find it yourself. So the question is, first question is, have you been to the wall, right? Russian President Vladimir Putin has visited the Western Wall in Jerusalem a total of 3 times. Chronology of his visits. Visit number 1, first visit, pre-presidency. His initial visit occurred before he was first elected as the president of Russia. See? This is the official information. Second visit was April 2006. This visit occurred during a state trip to Israel. He broke through his security protocol to make a midnight stop at the holy site. So that was that important. I wonder why. This trip marked the first time a sitting Kremlin leader visited Israel. I talked about it before, but here we go again. Third visit, June 2012. His most recent visit to the wall took place during a late night tour at approximately 1:30 a.m. So again, very important. Very late, or maybe very early, you should say. During this visit, he wore a traditional Jewish head covering. I don't know how to say it in English, we say yarmulke. Toward the Western Wall tunnels, there are tunnels, guys, and remarked on how deeply the Jewish past is engraved into the stories of Jerusalem. Note, there is more. While Putin traveled to Israel again in January 2020, so pre-Schmowitz situation, for the 75th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz death camp, he did not make an official stop at the Western Wall during that itinerary. So 75 years anniversary. It was 75th anniversary of the liberation of the Auschwitz death camp. Isn't it interesting? It was in 2020. I didn't know it. And what we had during 2020, what a remarkable year it was for all of us, right? Schmovit year. So, why I read this to you is this. Because some people say that, you know, even if he's Jewish, Jesus was Jewish, this has nothing to do with it. Well, again, the same sect that visits Kremlin, visits Zelensky and visits Trump at the White House. The same group of people from Chabad Lubavitch. So don't you understand, and I really don't care anymore if you are so blocked mentally to even just consider a possibility which you have plenty of evidence, but you simply don't want to embrace it. And I really think this is like it's a mental blockage, and I know a lot of people have it, that they have certain beliefs that they will never want to question because the entire picture image of reality will be crushed. And then what, right? I think that's where we're coming to, that we have to individually, truly return to ourselves, to God, and follow that. Because if you follow the leaders, there are no leaders. There are no leaders in human form, in my opinion. Zero, okay? Like, you have to be your own leader. But don't you think this is enough to say 3 times he visited the wall, and twice, well, first he broke the security protocol, like the second visit. First was even before his presidency. So I think he started his presidency in the year 2000, I'm not sure, or 1999 or 2000, something like that. So, guys, there is enough evidence. I'm not going to repeat this again, okay? As far as how they are using him, how they placed him in the position to create this divide as well as more conflicts, okay? Now think about it. Think about it just for a second. Is there any war in the history that was not created by the so-called ruling families that we know the names or don't know names? We say that bankers create the wars and they sponsor both sides. So why this is any different right now, right? Again, some people still don't understand this conflict in Ukraine. So let me remind you again. This is for the chosen ones to settle, and they are already doing this. I talked about this many times before. To settle down in the so-called liberated regions. They are even being paid by the Ukrainian government to settle down in areas of Ukraine, because ultimately Ukraine will be mix of them, Ukrainians, and some Russians. That's how I see it. It's also for the reason to weaken NATO and to weaken Europe, as they pretend to be the opposing sides. And if I am someone who was never savvy in politics, I'm just someone who is using common sense, connecting the dots and opening enough my mind, letting go of being absolutely before pro-Trump and being pro-Putin, letting go of all of it, I think a lot of people can do it too. But after my last video, I don't care anymore, to be honest with you, because I see like they still believe, they believe like this is the savior. Now the question is here, I have more to say from great comment, one of great comments. The question is here, so why is Russia so clean and so safe and all of it? Because they have to have one country, at least one, that they're gonna have a good life in. Don't you get it? Like, look at Poland. Like, you wonder why Poland doesn't have so many illegal immigrants. Not to say we do have them, they are not going to tell you the truth, and we do have crimes committed by them. We had crimes committed by them on the scale that is definitely much lower than in other countries, but we had it. So if you hear Dominic, what's his name? I forgot. There's this guy in European Parliament who is talking about like we don't allow a single Muslim to enter, is bullshit, because we did and we still do, and they commit crimes. but overall, of course, it's not on the scale like in other countries in Europe. So when you come to Poland, yes, it's cleaner, yes, it's safer, yes, it's better organized, but there is also a different reason. There's a purpose for it. And you know what is the purpose? Because Poland will be divided, and Poland will have the chosen ones occupying the lands, and it's gonna happen, guys. Like, there will be parts that just they live, or they live in certain regions, and we have part that will be, you know, completely blended with Ukraine. It's just a matter of time. So why they are saving Poland? I think there was I forgot what is the name in English. Trump signed something during his first presidency. It was an act or legislation. I don't know what is the professional, the right name to use for this. Anyway, he signed a document, that's what I want to say, about the properties and lands to be returned to those chosen ones who were forced to leave, let's say, Poland during World War II. So what's happening now? Even when I was in Krakow, they are just claiming this is their house or this is their building. And this is going to be with many other lands and regions, especially in the Galicia side. So just to give you my opinion on this, why they are saving Poland to be more clean and more organized, is because certain regions, they will settle in, okay? So they can remove people from those regions by different means, not necessarily by the conflict. However, I think they're gonna create turmoil first in Poland to implement the laws and new regulations, and to put that act, I don't know if it was 244 or something with like 44 was in there, and I talk about it, I just forgot the number, to return, to give back those properties and lands as a form of paying back the debt that Poland has, because every country is like, literally, pretty much most countries are in huge debt, starting with the United States, right? So now I want to read you one more comment. Actually, this is such an informative comment, and I want to thank you. I don't have your name, but what I did, I pinned this comment. So this is the first comment you're gonna see under my last video, that controversial video that many people get like, you know, triggered, and they were like, wild dog, I will say it, like you have the mouth full of, I forgot the liquid. Anyway, let me read you the comment, because I'm talking like nonsense to some. Some people said that I am crazy, that I am mad, and I don't know what I'm talking about. Those are people who usually don't do the research, probably never been to Russia, and have no idea what's going on. So let me find the beginning of this. The comment goes like this: Putin built BRICS Pay and Unit, so this is the form of like payment system, on the Rothschild's BIS CCP M bridge, that's the name, Rothschild's BIS CCP M bridge, which he announced, listen to this, I don't know everything, right? So he announced this during the BRICS 2024 conference in Kazan, with the United Nations SG at his side as a guest of honor. Nothing to be suspicious about, right? Why would Putin be building Russia's financial system with the CCP and BRICS on a financial system controlled by the Western powers, fighting against him and Russia in Ukraine? Because, this is what this person writes, the war, he means Russia-Ukraine war, is not structural, while the BIS-CCP collaboration on BRICS Pay and Unit is structural, and Putin is, the word I don't know, the anvil to the West's hammer, a tactical instrument that requires the Ukraine to be utterly destroyed and rebuilt by the globalists for the future objectives. And here one more reminder to those of you who don't remember that there was a video circulating that was created way before, I think, 2022, before that escalation of this special military operation. It is special because it's for liberating the lands, for the bloodlines, chosen ones to settle in, and they are there already, as you know, and they have their own police, by the way. So there was a video circulating about the future Ukraine, how it's going to look like, and it looked like kind of like an Israel of that region. And actually, I think Zelensky said it, that Ukraine will be so amazing that it will be like high-tech Israel. He was comparing it to Israel, I think. And you know who Zelensky is, I don't have to explain. So that video was showing like the cameras, surveillance, digital, everything digital currency, everything like, you know, 15-minute cities, convenience, etc., etc. Everything is sold under convenience and security, right? So you have to destroy something in order to build something new on it. And who do you think will be implementing or supplying all this highest technology to that region? Who? What country? Or what, like who? And again, guys, I'm not an expert. I'm just someone who is trying to present to you my point of view. And the last video, I was like, it didn't, you know, I don't allow like very rude comments or very offensive comments. It's like you invite someone to your house and they come and they speak very badly towards you, like directly towards you, or they call you names or things like this. Would you allow this guest to stay in your presence at your place? Because this channel is like my channel, right? So I put my energy, time, effort, and actually it takes a lot of energy. It's not like, you know, you are a miner and you are digging for coal, no, but there is a different form of energy that it requires, which is emotional energy. And when you touch subjects like this, which are on the very low frequency, it doesn't help you to feel better, on the contrary, actually. So with this being said, I want to say I don't care anymore. I'm going to post the video. I don't care anymore about trying to prove, you know. I think the best way to do it, I will be putting more of those kind of videos with evidence or some deeper questions on my Patreon and locals, where I am not scrutinized, how you say scrutinized by those who are so stiff and so... It's very dangerous to be like that, actually, I have to say. It doesn't mean you have to agree with me. You might just leave your aggressive comments for yourself, because what you are doing, you are projecting your anger that someone who you are watching is not agreeing with you. And I know a lot of you will say, Anya, don't pay attention, but you know, when you have a lot of comments like this, and I promise you, you're not gonna see a lot of them. I delete them or I block people because I don't allow it. And this is, well, you might criticize me for this too, as far as the freedom of speech goes. Valid point. However, the rudeness and aggressiveness and nastiness, I don't allow. Why shall I? Why shall I say you have one bad apple and, you know, all the other apples go the same direction? So why would I? But yeah, like something triggered, because now what to believe in, right? What to believe in. And that's why even that video about relocation that I created for you in Kraków, it's something that I know ultimately I have to answer myself. And someone also wrote a comment about that under that video, that, you know, Anya, it's really about you, where you are, your frequency, where you are as emotionally, energetically, because that's what you're going to experience. And I agree with that. That's why when I was in Kraków, you remember that video? When I had the group of those girls on my floor, in that hotel, occupying the entire floor. My floor, no other floor, my floor. So do I really want to attract more of that into my life? Not really. So maybe the best way is to focus for some time on other things and just present those kind of videos on Patreon and locals. So with this being said, guys, I will end this video here. Thank you so much for watching. If you choose to hit like, I say thank you. Let me show you, actually there's a picture how this castle looked like in 1948, because the entire city was completely destroyed. I think I've showed you this before again. Anyway, thank you so much. If you subscribe, I appreciate. And to everyone who supports me on Patreon, Locals and PayPal. And I want to say thank you to Roman, because I remember Roman donated on PayPal. And I appreciate this very much. So thank you, Roman, for your donation. And those of you who have Instagram, make sure to follow me there. And I just show you one more time the view, which is really nice. Do you see it? I think you see it. Okay guys, so lots of love, and remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. I see you in another video. Bye everyone.